Hello everyone. We got it working, so I want to make sure I have the right window open. We've had a few technical difficulty this morning, but I'm here with Marty and we figure it out. We're coming live through Zoom on Facebook. So hello everyone. I'm here with my guest Mardi Winder-Adams, a divorce transition coach, and we are at the Look Who's Here for a Chat. So that's my 38th episode in a row on every Monday. So I'm super excited that every week I have amazing guests that are coming to play with me and to be here live and share a little bit of their wisdom. And the reason why it's called It's All Good, well, I look at that. It's my favorite cup. It's water, warm water when the weather is not so beautiful, and it allows me to keep warm on the nice warm water, but also my mind. It helps my mind to think of, hey, we had a little difficulty. Hey, it's all good. We figure it out. I open Zoom, let's say, let's go on Zoom. We'll share that. We're all good. Life is beautiful, and there's no point getting all stressed out over things that is beyond our control, because right now we can figure out why Marty couldn't have her sound. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today. It's going to be Q&A like usual. So if you're watching this video, please like it. If you watch this on YouTube, because that's going to be put on YouTube, please subscribe, click the little bell, watch all my videos. I'll be happy to have you in my favorable list. And so today we're going to be talking about reducing stress during separation and divorce. Well, there's a lot of stress in there for what I know. Personally, I haven't experienced stressful and situation like those, but I know of people that I've met, people around me, that divorce can be quite stressful. Women experience high level of stress during separation and divorce that negatively impact their physical and mental health and also impact their professional life. So let me tell you a little bit about Marty. She's an executive and leadership coach. Why can I say coach today? Certified divorce transition coach and a credentialed Distinguished Mediator in Texas. Wow, that's huge. Marty has helped hundreds of women navigate the divorce process and reduce the emotional and financial cost of the process. She is the founder of Positive Communication System, LLC. So Marty, welcome, and I'm so glad you're here, and finally we got this working, so welcome.
Thank you, Denise. It's wonderful to be here, and thank you for putting up with me and my microphone problems. I so appreciate you.
Hey, my cup says it all.
I like that cup.
You know, if I ever break that cup, I'll have to have one made or make one myself, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, you want
I
to
love
keep that with
cup.
you.
Ever since I've had it, it's like I used to have another one the same size. It used to be like Starbucks, whatever. I found that, you know, whatever, somebody's office, and I steal it because I love the size. And but one day I broke it, and I was like, oh no, my favorite cup, because of the size, not so much because it was Starbucks. And I was without a big cup for a while, and then I was in the US, and I was in a store, I don't know, remember which store, like, you know, one of those big chain store, and then I see that big cup, and I love it was orange and white, and not so much because it says it's all good at that time, but little you know, nowadays it's my trade. So but I put it in my luggage and brought it back home.
I love, I know this is off the topic, but when I was growing up, I loved purple. Like that's always kind of been my signature color, and I really love.
Yeah,
But lately, orange has been really drawing me, like that really bright cherry orange, like that one. And I don't know why. It's just like I see it, and it makes me happy for some reason.
Me too. I love orange. Makes me really happy. So, separation and divorce coach. Wow. So I'd love to know how did you get started doing that?
Well, it's kind of a long, complicated, convoluted way that I got here. I think most of us, at least at my age in life, we've kind of had a few trials of what we'd like to do when we grow up, and we're sort of getting to that place now.
Yeah.
And so I actually started out as a teacher. And I ended up in a position where I was working a lot, kind of liaising between school and parents for kids that were having behavioral disorders.
Okay.
So that led me into the mediation, and then the mediation led me into doing work with the court systems. And then I got involved with the domestic violence shelter as a client advocate. Then I became an executive coach, and I just realized that all of those skills that I had learned up to that point kind of helped me be more effective at my job than maybe some of the other coaches who may be coming at it from a different background.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I was a better coach, I just had a different approach to things.
Yeah.
And I found in working with a lot of the women executives, entrepreneurs, leaders, that I had the privilege of working with, is that a lot of their challenges and their stress at work was directly related to things that were going on in their personal life. And I think a lot of times as women, we make the assumption that we can do this over here and do this over here, and we can keep the two separate. And that is just not realistic.
We kind of carry it on our shoulders everywhere we go, for sure.
We do. And I think it's also the way that, not to be gender typing people, but I think men and women have a different approach to handling specific issues. I think men are much more effective at compartmentalizing and being able to put this in this spot and this in this spot. Whereas I just don't, again, I don't see women as a whole necessarily using that approach. And that's not a bad thing. It's just a difference that I'm noticing.
Yeah,
So
I found that women, we are, well, we care, like a woman, I feel like, that men's, if you're watching that, it's not you, but it's the other guys. But they don't, as you said, they're better at compartmentalizing, like it's, okay, I'm doing this and that's that. And it's not necessarily a good thing, because then they kind of block emotions, right, from being there. But neither one is perfect. Neither situation is perfect, whether you carry your emotion with you everywhere or whether you compartmentalize it. I mean, there's a balance act between the two, so we don't want to make anybody upset here.
No, and I think and so that's very true. And I think the thing is, when we try to just pretend we're not under stress, maybe we can fool ourselves, but our bodies, they know what we're going through, and our hormonal levels and everything else still reacts as if we're under that stress. And so then we have other problems that start to come into life at that point.
Okay, so to answer my question, so through all your experience, that's when you brought in, like you say, hey, like I've got different background into my life, and when you started to do coaching, then, but what specifically, why aiming towards separation and divorce? It's just you fell into it.
And the one thing, well, not exactly. I went through a divorce myself, so I have been through a divorce, and I've also been through the death of a spouse, and so both of those events affected me on a very personal level and in a very different way.
Yeah.
And my divorce is when I was much younger, and the death of my husband was just a few years ago. And so one of the things I learned is that I was one of these people that, like, my problems are my business and I'll deal with them. And what I learned is that it's not so easy to deal with these issues. I was very fortunate in my divorce. I had some wonderful friends. And I think you and I have talked about this before, but I really had some phenomenal friends who literally said to me, like, what is going on? We're here to support you. And they were there. I mean, ride and die friends, right? I mean, they stood beside me. They helped me out. They didn't judge. They didn't try to create drama. They really helped me through the transition of divorce and through the through the death of my husband as well. And I got to, in my role, again, working with women in executive positions, I thought the higher up the food chain you get in a corporate environment, or even as a business owner, the more you want to portray this sense of, I'm a professional, I've got everything under control, I'm running things,
I got my
I'm
shit
in charge.
together,
Right. Yes.
We're allowed to say shit here.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good. And so then who talk to? You know, you don't want to talk to your children, obviously. Even if they're adult kids, you don't want to talk
Yeah,
to them
yeah,
about something like divorce. You
yeah.
know, your friends may or may not understand you. You don't want to talk to your coworkers because that's just office gossip, right? That gets
Gossips,
going
yeah.
round and round and round. So my experience was these professional women really had no place to go. And they were
Mm.
reaching out through executive and leadership coaching services, but it was really a lot about divorce stuff, dealing with their personal side.
Well, that's fantastic. I'm glad you started to do that because I can feel that there's a big need, out there for that. And if you hear a baby crying, no, it's not a baby, it's my cat. He's just walking around me right now. Say, "Are you picking me up?" No, I'm not. I'm not picking you up, Tiger. So, so what is the biggest challenge in people like actually making that decision to hire a coach? So what would be the like let's say I was to Tiger, hi. So if I was to get divorced and but what would stop someone from first what would pry someone to know that there's people like you? So how do people know to find you? and and what would be their biggest challenge?
Well, divorce coaching is actually in the last probably decade, 10 years ish, it has really kind of come into its own.
Mm.
And I'm from Canada. I do live in Texas. You were absolutely right about that, but I am Canadian. And, Canada has kind of been a little farther ahead than some countries. And the US is kind of on the same trajectory where, mediation is now pretty much required in most divorce cases, especially if there's kids. There's going to be a co-parenting plan. So there's a lot of legal stuff that comes into play fairly quickly. And so a lot of my clients, there she is, he is it a he?
He.
Okay. A lot of my clients come to me because their attorneys have referred them. And so attorneys recognize that people are, struggling with trying to make day-to-day decisions. They're maybe having challenges with managing the interactions with the soon-to-be ex, or maybe they're just struggling with, what do I do? How do I do this? How do I say this? How do I approach this problem? And that's not what lawyers are there to do. So, divorce coaching, I like that place between the attorney and the therapist. So I'm not an attorney and I'm not a therapist, but using just good coaching tools, helping people understand, what do they want to do? Where did they want to be 6 months, a year from now? How to get a better, a healthier self-care routine during divorce to help them have the emotional and physical energy to deal with it. So those are the kind of reasons that people come to me. The American Bar Association actually recognizes divorce coaching now. And if you look it up on their website, they actually give a definition as a divorce coach and recognize it now. So that's kind of nice. Most of the people that come to me, though, are through either attorney referrals or referrals from their therapist.
Oh, cool. That's really cool. It's nice to be able to have these tools because there's, as you mentioned, like there's so much emotional baggage that is being shoveled around during any type of separation or conflict within family, right?
Absolutely. And there was, I tell people, if you think you make a lot of decisions on a day-to-day basis now, wait till you're going through a divorce or separation, because your number of decisions just literally goes through the roof. Because, you've got to make all the decisions for yourself. Plus, now that you're on your own, guess what? Whatever role your partner had in the relationship, you're now having to make all those decisions for yourself as well, because sometimes people have great relationships going through the divorce. And if you are one of those people, I celebrate you. I respect the hard work that you are putting into doing that. But those aren't the people that need a divorce coach. So not everybody needs a divorce coach. It's really people that don't have that person, don't have that support, are really uncertain about what to do, or they're noticing that they're really having challenges around how to approach problems, how to deal with communication things, how to make decisions, how to set their goal for their future. All of those things are kind of coachable things.
So when you're coaching your clients about divorce and separation, are you coaching the couples, or are you coaching either the wife or the husband, or?
I'm going to say, for me, Denise, in my practice, I only work with women.
Okay.
There are divorce coaches who work with both the husband and the wife,
Mhm.
or the two partners if it's the same gender relationship, or there are coaches that only work with men.
Mhm.
Some coaches will work with, the entire family. There's really a broad spectrum of it. So, but I strictly work with women.
Okay. Okay. And so how does having a coach reduce the stress and chaos and help create improvement? So how can you help them, like reducing that, I want to pull my hair out, and and get some more peace?
So in that way, I think divorce coaching is very similar to any other kind of coaching,
Mm.
where it starts with talking to the client. What are their goals for the coaching sessions? What do they want to do? Where do they see the challenges in their life? And then really helping them to explore their options, their resources. I do goal setting with my clients every session, short-term, long-term goals. What do you want to do? What's your big goal? I would like to reduce my stress. Let's say that's their big goal.
Uh-huh.
So then the short-term goal is, so tell me one thing that you're willing to commit to do this week or between this and our next call that's going to help you reduce your stress. So for some people, that's getting back to the gym now that we can start doing those kind of things again. Maybe for others, it's to start a meditation or a mindfulness practice. So then if those are the options they suggest, then we start looking at, okay, what do you need to do to get back to the gym? How can you make yourself accountable? What kind of a schedule? So it really gets down into the granular steps, so that when they walk off of that call, they have a clear action plan and they feel good about the decisions they've made, and they have set their own accountability, their own plans, their own strategies. I'm just really there to help them tap into what they already know that they need to do for themselves. But it's nice because we do it together. My clients can text me and we talk in between our sessions through text. And every now and then, if I see something, a funny little comment or a funny little, thing on the internet that kind of relates to what they're doing, they may get a text from me, just, hey, here's a funny reminder of what you're focused on today.
Mm-hmm.
Just keeping it top of mind,
Yeah.
so that it's so easy to get stuck in the bog down of, oh my gosh, I'm going through this divorce, my life is changing, I'm so stuck in the conflict right now, that once you elevate yourself above that, you can see, wow, you've got that 30,000-foot view. There's a future ahead of me. I've got things I want to do. And so I find it gets people really motivated to take those steps and get moving forward.
Wonderful. That's great. And what differentiates you from, let's say, from me, for example, which I'm not a divorce coach. So where would be the difference between like a regular life coach and you when people are looking for coaching through what they're going through?
Thank you for asking that. That is such an important question. So one of the things that I work on, because of my background in working with the court system and doing mediation, I really help people strategically plan for the divorce. So what do you want? Because, and when I'm going to say that, can I give an example to illustrate that? I have so many clients who go through divorce and have this thought put in their head by friends, family members: you need to make sure that when the divorce is over, you own the family home. Like the family home is yours.
Yeah.
Well, if your goal if you live in Dallas, or you live in Vancouver, or you live in, Regina, or wherever you may live, if your goal is to move across the country in the next 2 years, to, go to New Brunswick or something, or go to New York, why on earth do you want to retain the family home? So you've got to know what you want to do in the future before you can make the right decisions for your divorce, because who wants to be stuck trying to sell a house when you don't know whether or not it's going to sell? Wouldn't it make more sense to just take a lump sum payment out of the house right now, invest it in whatever you want to do, let it make money for you until you decide to make your move? So that's the kind of strategic stuff. Financial planning, I'm not an expert on it, but I do help people set up basic budgets to understand what they need to do. The other thing is obviously to prepare yourself emotionally for dealing with ongoing issues with the ex-partner, particularly if you have kids and you're going to be co-parenting. So it's really setting that mindset around co-parenting. That's a big part.
Yeah, that makes a big difference, because I like, for the friend that I know that have divorced, like this, they can be such a roller coasters, like having to even like face the other
Yes. Yeah.
face your future ex-husband, and even afterwards, right? Even after you've divorced, I mean, dealing with custody and dealing with holidays and booking times and changing dates, and it's just so stressful sometimes, just having to deal with the ex. And I imagine your clients might stay with you for a while afterwards, just to be able to handle all that stress and those ordeals, right?
I usually encourage, I try to work with my clients. I started out originally working with clients for about 3 months. And what I found was all the clients said, okay, we think we're in a good place now. And so I got them through the mediation, through the divorce. And then all of a sudden they go, but now we're dealing with all of these co-parenting challenges. And I thought I'd be done with it. I'm still, like, exactly what you said.
So much emotions going there.
So I have scrapped that whole package, and I'm now doing a 6-month package, which on average, most divorces are going to take about 6 months. Now, some take a lot more, some take a lot less. But yes, you're right. Because if you can reduce the conflict during the divorce, it's less likely the conflict is going to pop up later. I mean, I'm not guaranteeing anything, right? Because people can do anything they want.
Because you become more emotionally intelligent doing the coaching they do with you, and then they won't do things afterwards that they would have done without a coach during the divorce.
That's what I'm hoping. That is my goal with every one of my clients, is just to have the women in a really strong, empowered state where they are not making emotional decisions. They're able to stop, think through the options, think through the consequences, and then make the best decision with the information they have, even in those emotional situations.
You got to deal with the cat. He's sick. He has an ear infection, and I've been putting some type of oil in his ears, probably medicated oil. And first of all, he doesn't like that because it's sticky,
Yeah.
And his ears like, and then I'm sure he's still a little bit of pain, and he's having antibiotics. So he's being a little bit of a spoiled cat right now. No, you lay down.
That's okay. Denise, I normally have one that usually halfway through these interviews, she jumps up and walks across my desk, and you see this little cat tail.
Hey, we have our pets, we have our kids, like it's part of working from home and being open to whatever comes, right?
But saying that, I have to tell you, I have learned so much about my clients. I just feel so much closer to them. Like on a professional level, obviously, but just being invited into somebody's home, even though it's Zoom, it's so much more personal than just talking to them over the phone or meeting with them in an office or something. So I've got to say, I do kind of like the Zoom stuff now. I didn't like it at first, but I feel
like you too. I feel like it's now talking on the phone, when I've had someone even like a year ago that says, no, we'll talk on the phone. I was like, we're what? What's wrong with Zoom? Where are you hiding? It's like, what are you hiding? What's wrong with that? So how do people find you? Like how people, beside you getting reference from divorce lawyers and psychologists, like how do people find you?
Well, I do have a website. So it's www.divorcecoach4women with four is the number four. And if people do go there, if women do go there, there is an option to schedule a free
Let's see if I
divorce
can
strategy
do that.
planning session. And that is just focused on you. It's not a sales thing. So I get people through that. I do some different summits, networking events. I'm in a couple of women's professional groups,
Okay.
but I try not to be salesy. I would rather be supportive and helpful. So a lot of the people that call me for a call, I know that they're not necessarily needing a divorce coach for 6 months, but maybe they just need somebody to talk through one little problem with. So
Yeah.
take advantage of it. Book a call. Let me know if I can help you. I'm happy to do so.
Oh, that's fantastic because I feel it's anytime, and that's why the work I do and what you do, any life coaching, and and especially when you deal with stress and with unresolved issue or limiting belief, you think you're not good enough to do that, or you don't deserve enough, or whatever that is, right? You don't want to be upsetting, you don't want to raise your voice, because you've been such a good mom or a good wife, and regardless of your situation. But I found that it's good to take those steps and to gain the strength that you have, like to wake it up, because we all have the strength to voice our opinion. We all have the strength to say what we need and what we want. But sometime, like with me, I call that the saboteurs. Sometime we feel the little victim saboteurs. It's like, oh, but I don't know, like what is people gonna think, or the avoider, or I don't
The
want
avoider,
conflict.
yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to fight. I don't want to. It's
Yeah.
not fighting. It's just
Right.
voicing your opinion. And once you start working with a coach and getting the understanding of what's going on in here, it allows you to take control. And I think that's the main thing. Once you feel control-less, once you feel that you're being like a rocked in a boat and your boat's going right and left and you have no control, that's debilitating. That's not comfortable. But once you have your oars, and then you can stabilize your boat and you're not going all over the place, then you're in control, after a while of practice, because it needs practice. And that's why we keep working with a coach for 6 months, because you're gonna have more challenge coming up and you're gonna be triggered, right? And then, well, what do I do?
Well, and you are so right, because so many of the people that I work with have those limiting beliefs around it. Like, well, I'll just take whatever the court gives me, or I don't have any right to question what my attorney recommends, or, I'm just going to go along with whatever my attorney tells me to do. And I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. Your attorney is going to do everything they can for you, but they don't know what you want. So how can they make choices for you?
And that's what
even,
your
even the limiting,
exercise, right? What do you want to do that, to really nail down, okay, in the best case scenario, what do you want, right?
Right.
And then let's
And
work to getting that for you.
And even going into mediation, I work with so many women who say, well, it doesn't really matter if I strategize for mediation, because, he's in his business, he does this, or he negotiates all day. So what am I, what do I have the opportunity to get? And I'm like, well, nothing. If that's the way you're going to go into the mediation, you've got to go in there with this sense of this is what I want. Yes. And I have the right to ask for this. And this is a level, the mediator's in there to make sure that it's a level playing field. So you have to be strong emotionally to go through a divorce. And it's not easy to stay strong the whole time unless you have somebody that's really supporting you and helping you to, again, focus in on that self-care, sleep, nutrition, exercise, mindset, and stress management. Those are the ones that you've really got to focus in on.
Yes. And I'm glad they have you.
Well, thank you, Denise. And I appreciate what you do too, because you have taught me an awful lot.
Yeah, it's a good system, and ladies or even gentlemen, she works with with mostly with ladies, but I'm sure you know people that are working with men. If some men would like to be coach, and just contact Mardi, and she will help you out finding the right person for you. If that's not her, if you're going through a divorce, a separation, and you need some help, don't be shy to ask, you know.
Yes, and please, I would be more than willing to do that, the divorce strategy planning session with
Hmm.
any gentleman, with any man that
Yeah.
are on the call. It's just I wouldn't necessarily be the person to coach you, but I do have some people that I would be more than happy. I personally trust, and I can give you my recommendation that they would be wonderful divorce coaches.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to have you here today, regardless of the technology problem. I don't know why it didn't work in the other platform, but we're here. It works out, and we make the best of it. And for those that right now it's on Facebook, usually it's on Facebook and LinkedIn, but I guess the LinkedIn people will have a video instead of a live, which is okay. Or I might just share the YouTube channel once I post it there.
Sure.
So thank you so much. Any last word before we end this call?
No, just that be aware that there are always people to support you, whether they're your friends, your family, or whether you hire somebody. You don't have to go through divorce on your own and deal with all that stress on your own. We're here to help. And Denise, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity. It's been terrific to speak with you again.
Oh, you're very welcome. So I will end the live call right now. So goodbye, everyone. Let's see if I can stop live stream. Okay, bye. Gotta go
Bye.
now.